better run when you hear that. I said, run when you hear that. I said, you better run. I said, run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. You better run. I said, run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that. Run when you hear that.
Gotta love his enthusiasm. Brad Doyle and his trusted sidekick Matt. Yeah, wish him all the best.
Good evening, everybody. Bruce Foster. Welcome to tonight's show. Tonight we were going to have Mick Anthony and Jimmy Blackwood on. Unfortunately, Mick's unwell, and Jimmy is in Thailand. He did offer to call in while he was at the airport. I said to him, leave it. Well, let's just do it next week instead of potentially risking tech issues and connection issues. So we're going to do that episode next week. And so I then got Alex Youings on kind of speed dial. Well, I dropped him a quick message and say, hey, listen, change your plans for this week. Would you mind coming on this week and talking about your dad and his impression, his lasting impression that he's left on the Jetski community? And he agreed, so I really, really thank him for that. That video that I just showed you, it's an older one. It was obviously Matt Doyle, Matt Hollins, and they did a charity ride from the Gold Coast all the way up to Mackay at October of 2024. I don't think he did one last year, but he did request, because he was coming up from the Gold Coast, from Jacob's Well. He wasn't sure of the best route to go. His initial idea was to just jump straight out into the ocean and head straight up. I said to him, why don't you go through the inside passage? It's a bit more scenic, a bit more protection, and by the time we get up to the middle of the bay, the weather conditions would hopefully be a bit more favourable for them. And that was pretty much the way it was. So that was just a quick look back, throwback, call it what you want, on that particular ride. So he's a bit of a madman, but God love his enthusiasm. Raising money for a charity which helped him greatly, sorry, not gratefully, but although I'm sure he's grateful for it. He had his problems and they helped fix him up and get him back on the right path again. So good stuff. All right, now let's go. I'm going to get our guest on. Let's just crack on and let's give him a buzz. Hopefully he's ready to go. I'm getting no screen, which is never a good indicator for me. Let's just.
Hey, mate.
Hello, how are you? There we go.
Good, how you doing?
I thought I was going to lose you there, but I've got you. So we're all good.
All good.
All right, let me just resize a little. I'm only seeing your nose though, and a lot of your chest. Ah, right, I see what you've done.
You can see me all good?
I can. Are you walking
Hear me?
around in the distance? Yeah, you can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Yeah, sweet.
I'm doing things a little bit different myself. You're obviously doing things from a further view. Explain to us first, Alex, what that is that you're sitting beside for our trusted viewers.
This is a 1994 Kawasaki JS550 SX, and it's pretty much in the original form from factory, minus a couple little, handle grips and throttle, but pretty much the original motor. Pretty much original motor from factory, still running.
And who owns that? You?
Well, I guess it's inherited to the family now. So I've got a couple of brothers. So obviously it's the family's now, but it was my late father's ski. He passed away January 28th this year. He was 84, and this was his ski from new. And I guess he's had many models beforehand, but we kept this one, and there was talks years ago of selling it, but I convinced him otherwise. He didn't need to sell it, so why not keep it?
Exactly. You can't. Who's most likely going to get the benefit of the riding on it? I don't think it would be your brothers, would it? Would it be most likely you?
Well, I actually learnt how to ride. When I was 8 years old, in about 1998, 97, 98, I started to ride on this when I was a kid, and we didn't have kill switch lanyards. It was just it idled and it circled round, and Dad used to tie a rope to the front of the bow and hold onto the ski, and it would just idle around. But I guess because I learned how to ride it, I probably will ride it the most. I changed the starter motor on it last month. Sometimes I've done the pump bearings, a couple of times in the last decade. So I've sort of kept it up with the maintenance.
Yeah. So
I guess, I'm the main user of it.
You're the beneficiary then. You're the sole beneficiary then, really.
Yeah, well, I guess if you put it that way, yes. But, as I said, I've got brothers. So, if they want to, like, I've brought it out a couple of times for my brothers to jump on and ride. So, I've got a double trailer. I've got 2 skis usually ready to go. So it's like, hey, you want to go for a ride, or I'm going to take it out this weekend? You're more than welcome to ride it. So, we just juice it up.
Do they generally take you up on the offer?
My brother Jeremy, we actually raced it. We did a memorial race in mid-February earlier this year, and we did a vintage class, which was the tribute class. And there was 6 of us entered, and my brother and I, we both did 2 motos. I let my brother do the first 2 motos, and I did the last 2. We sort of alternated. And he did pretty good in that. We took first overall, but there was one rider who probably, if he didn't have a breakdown, he probably would have won it. But it wasn't about winning for us. It was more just obviously everyone getting together and
Definitely. Listen, before we proceed, condolences to your family. I know it was earlier this year,
so
but I think your father's left a lasting impression. So let's talk about your dad. You sent me through a big list of things that he, from when he was born, emigrated, what he did when he was, when he first job, all that kind of stuff, but all his accomplishments in the jet ski community as well. You want to tell us a little bit about your father then?
Yeah, okay. So he come to Australia in '56 when he was almost 15. He come with a bunch of the 10-pound
I
poms,
was going to say
and
he must have been a £10 migrant.
yeah, that's the nickname, and they've accepted that name. I think it's fine. And they basically came here because obviously after the war, and they got they had to they were told, "There's Melbourne, go get a job."
Yep.
That was it. They lived in a hostel for a few years, got jobs, saved enough money, did what they did. And then I guess Dad just kept working as an electrician. And then eventually 1979, because I'll get to the point of the jet skiing part, but 1979, we fast forward. I think he drove past a Rover dealer in Geelong, and there was, this sort of looking thing in the window. And he went up to the dealer, inquired about it, and the Rover dealers must have imported a dozen of them, and just said, it's a JS 440 and it's a jet ski. And Dad's just, he's been around water and boats and stuff, and he never seen anything like it. And then he test rode it in the Barwon River, and then basically got hooked from there, and then upgraded over the years. And then about the mid '80s, he got involved with the VJSBA, and then a club got formed, and then they were trying to put events on, and they started putting racing and time trials and slalom events. And then he hung around for about 10 years, got out of it, and then sort of just kept being a rec rider. I think Dad did enter a few race meets back in the 80s, but he wasn't, you know what it's like. There's always the people running around behind the scenes that don't really ride, but putting it on. And he was that type of person, but he did jump in and have a crack. And then I guess in the 90s, 2000s, even up to now, he just sort of kept social riding. And he did enter a couple of time trial races a few years ago. And he was pretty happy about that, as in the later 2000 and probably 2018, 19.
It would have been a good
And
age.
then,
it would have been a good age by that point.
Yeah. And then, like anything, you just keep riding, keep doing things. And I was sort of a catalyst for him to get out in the water, because, sometimes your buddies come and go, but because he got me into it, then I would sort of say, hey, let's go out this weekend, or, what's the wind doing? And we sort of kept each other going.
He felt obligated to come with you, because at the end of the day, he got you into it in the first place.
Exactly. And then through his time of being in the PWC industry, because he was involved with being the president of the club, Mum did stuff for the club as well. A lot of people in throughout the sport would know who they did and what they did. But Dad was also involved with the State Voting Council in Victoria, and he also networked with communities where it's different to nowadays. But back then, you had to find out who the people were that were complaining about, jet skis and areas, and he liaised with council members
try to minimise the impact.
Yeah, and then look, there was a couple of things out of his control there was an area where they actually banned them down near us. There's about a few kilometres of beach where legally a PWC is not allowed to launch or retrieve there, which I'm sort of a bit mind blown, because a boat can, and technically we come under the same licensing laws.
Yeah.
But they petitioned to ban PWCs in that area, and then Dad sort of opposed it, and then I think there was a bit of, I don't know, dodgy stuff gone into how they did it, but they got it through. And then Dad basically said, well, if a PWC user can't use this area, where can they use? And then they decided to put a PWC exclusive only use zone about 10 minutes down the road. And that still exists. It still exists to this day. And as far as I know, it's the only one left in Victoria, and I think almost Australia, because I try to find stuff online, and even finding that zone, you can't find much info.
Yeah, I've never heard of any other area. In fact, that's the first time I'm actually even aware that there was a specifically designated PWC area anywhere in Australia. It's the first I've heard of it. Because all you ever hear these days is them being banned, or petitions to ban them. Like obviously New South Wales has had a few areas, the harbour, a few other areas as well just recently. there's been a bit of discussions about, you know, might happen in QPW, you know, in Queensland as well, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. Like I'd never like to tempt fate. I don't think it's ever going to happen up in Queensland. But hey, touch wood. I hope it doesn't. But you never know.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
it just takes a couple of idiots to do something silly, and then before you know it, bang. You know.
Yeah. What I've noticed, normally an area that it's very, you know, scenic, and it's, you know, it's got a nice serenity to the area. Normally it's non-powered, you know, water users who, say for example, kayakers, stand-up paddleboarders, they don't like anything with sound and that goes faster than them. And then normally what happens, what I've experienced and seen, is that they're friends with someone who's an MP in the area, and then they just pull a few strings and they make a bit of propaganda, and you know what it's like, media,
before you know it's on a
done.
6 o'clock news.
Yep. And it's like, oh, it's so dangerous. People are almost dying, but they're not dying. But it's, you know, I don't know. I try not to watch the media.
I actually got a couple of comments on the live stream that we did down at the Ages at Lake Macquarie. There was a couple of comments from local residents, believe it or not, who had said, take your jet skis somewhere else. You're not welcome here. I actually had to remove those comments from the live stream.
I could one up you on that one. I had a bloke, and it boiled my blood, but I did a memorial video for Dad, and he made some snidey comments on it, and I just said to him, hey mate, you know, look, besides your opinion, whatever it is, it's not relevant here, and please remove it. And he sort of carried on, and I said, mate, you're going to get deleted. And I actually made him apologize. I said, you need to apologize. It's very disrespectful. He apologized. I just deleted him. But those people, they're all like, you know, they're always going to be
honest, they're a bit self-interest as well, because they're only looking out for themselves.
Correct.
You know, I know.
Look, I've gone out there snorkeling. I've done snorkeling, a bit of kayaking, a bit of swimming, and I mean, I've seen PWC users, even boat. To be honest, I reckon there's more boat users out there than PWC users. And I mean, I was at the boat ramp a couple of days ago, and I saw a 5 knot area boat, full noise through it. And I mean,
mate, it's exactly the same in a lot of places, like Gold Coast and around us. It's exactly the same. You know, we always get the painted in the bad picture, but it's, you know, the boats are just as bad. You know. Yeah,
I think with the boats, they do something wrong, but they're gone. I think with the jet ski guys, they hang around and do something wrong, and they just keep doing it.
It just seems to, immediately if something goes wrong with a jet ski, it's like, boom, target, bullseye. We can see you. You know?
Easy target, yeah.
Easy target, whereas the boats, for some reason, even though they're bigger and more visible, they just seem to slide off the radar. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. I've got one question for you.
Yep.
How do you learn? Like you said earlier, your dad learned to ride that. Bearing in mind that's a stand-up. Now, I know that how many people can actually just jump on one of them and stand up off the bat? How easy is it? Or how hard is it?
Well, this is an older technology, so this is like a 1970s concept hull, and it wasn't really built to be stable, but as a beginner, something like this, you start either on your knees, lying down, and you just feather the throttle until you feel comfortable. And then obviously, like a bike, you need momentum to keep yourself vertical. Yeah. And you just step and stand, and then you just keep yourself on the accelerator. It's more when you're turning, people turn left and they start tipping their body, and then they feel their body tip and they fall off.
Yeah.
So something like this is, like, for example, if you were to jump on this, you'd struggle a lot. But I'd say if you jumped on a newer 4-stroke Superjet or a 4-stroke 1500 Kawasaki, or even an old 2-stroke 800, you would probably get on, same thing, you'd get on your knees, and then they're more stable, they're more forgiving, where this, as soon as it's on that slight angle and your body's a little off, the hulls just tip over. But it's more challenging.
Yeah, to be honest, I've always wondered what it would be like, but I just know that I'll probably, like you say, if I start to lean over, I'll probably think, right, if I accelerate, I'll maybe go back up again. But it would probably be, that would work the opposite for me probably, because I would accelerate and I'd probably just lean over even more.
Naturally, the body's the body's leaning, and then you're right. If you gas it, you're probably going to go like that. But sometimes people just
Gas it and
it's
go
just
straight into the water.
yeah, exactly. It's your brain trying to get familiar with something unfamiliar, and then like I said, it's like if you're
It's like
riding
you're
your push
riding a
bike
bike.
really
It's like
slow,
riding- yeah.
if you're riding your push bike slow and you start leaning, well, the bike's going to go like over, and you're going to put your foot out.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you can't really put your foot out to stop it from falling, but
How's
it's part of the fun. That
how do the knees hold up?
my knees have been good, but I had a basketball injury last year, and when I ride, I'm fine, but the next day I do get sort of, I don't know, slight pains in the side, which I haven't actually followed it up or, gone to see the doctor. I've sort of just rested and then kept moving. But if you've got, look, let's just say if you're relatively body's fine, you'll jump on, you'll get a workout on these muscles that you've never felt before, like anything.
Yep.
If you're someone who's a bit battered and scarred and, got past injuries, I mean, probably tomorrow and the day after, you're probably going to feel them more. But as I said, the falling off part is a part of it.
I'm almost 59, and I know your dad I know your dad was in his 70s, and he's still going at it, and his 80s, he's still going at it. Or up until what was he,
84.
84 when he kind of slowed down or stopped. So
yep.
Like he's a good bit older than me, but he's been used to doing it for so long. Whereas someone like myself, I've had my fair share of injuries through sports and various sports, especially like my knees and my ankles and stuff. So, the pounding it takes for me, my knees just go up like balloons anytime I do something like that. So it's just like sometimes I get it even just riding my own ski.
Yeah.
It's just that hit that air, you hit that wave and you kind of lift yourself up a little bit to ride it, and just come back down, and I feel it twinge, and then I know it's going to be up like a balloon tomorrow. So by the time I get back to the ramp, it's already up.
Have some Nurofen maybe.
Oh, I think it needs more than that.
Probably.
Listen, your father's reach has went quite far internationally. I think I think Mark Gomez left a comment about your dad. A tribute as as a mark of respect. So.
Yeah, Dad met him in one of the rip and ride competitions. Must have been about 10 years. We met Mark a couple of times, but he seemed to remember Mark, I think, because Dad mentioned he's 550, and obviously Mark would remember someone a bit older coming up and talking about things. So,
Yep.
Yeah. And I think he gave Dad some stickers, and Dad was pretty happy about that.
Does he Bailey's saying 550's king.
Yes, I agree. But Bailey's he's a 550 enthusiast like me as well. I think we sort of feed off each other, like, talk about it.
He made a comment about racing some round. I don't know what it was. He was saying, like, can we have a 550 round? I can't remember what that was.
I was chatting to Bailey the last few weeks, and he mentioned about getting his ready to race. So I think he's going to battle some of the two-stroke light skis. So, I mean, as long as he doesn't come off like anything, I'm sure he can keep up with them. They're still pretty quick for what they are, but they just haven't got as much top speed, but they're still pretty capable.
Well, sometimes
in the right
it's
hands.
always about top speed. It's how you get around the corners, around the buoys.
Yeah, look, as I said, they're not as forgiving as the newer hulls, but, there's a handful of riders out there that could probably even they could ride that and beat me on a two-stroke 800.
Billy's certainly up for that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling through some of the information you gave me. He's a bit of a, you said, now I remember the conversation we had a while back about your dad. He's a bit of a techie, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess he was into cameras. Obviously, cameras in the 80s were probably take up your whole shoulder, and you had to look through the whole viewfinder and have tapes and stuff. But he had a lot of those cameras when I was a kid, even waterproof enclosures. We used to take them out in the water. We probably had about 3 or 4 of them up until a DVD. It was a handy cam enclosure. Which, you took it in the water.
Yeah.
That was a DVD camera the last one we had, and then obviously GoPros basically replaced all that, and you didn't have to carry more accessories.
Yep.
He had a few GoPros, even though he didn't know how to use them. I sort of helped him, but through the years, he did keep up with the technology. Computers, probably not so much, but he did have a hobby of that. And then I sort of caught on with the action cameras, drones,
Yep.
stuff like that. So I've sort of caught on because it's relevant to our sport.
Yeah, I think
So he's always loved that stuff.
Yeah, I think the introduction of action cameras has really changed the dynamic of a lot of sports, not just jet ski racing, but just jet skiing in general, and just pretty much anything that means going fast, bikes, cars, all that kind of stuff. Interestingly, you mentioned GoPro. I was reading an article the other day that GoPro's financial statements are basically saying that if this new camera that they've got, the Mission 1, doesn't become a success, they're potentially going to be going into administration.
Going under.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I did.
A company of that size.
Yeah, I did sort of went down the rabbit hole of technology probably last year, and they did mention about GoPro sort of. I think one of the drones they made sort of.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Dug the hole for themselves.
Yeah, they lost a lot on the drone, which.
Yeah, they invested a lot of R&D, and I mean, obviously they're one of the most, I don't know, renowned. Like even everyone just even an Insta 360, someone calls, oh, you got a GoPro there, and it's like, oh, well, no, it's an Insta or a DJI, but it's become the name of the technology. But even though it's mightn't be around a year from now, I hope they do stick around because they do make a good product.
They do make a good product. At the end of the day, though, if you think about it, really, the design or concept is not really changing. The new camera, they do have new sensors and all that kind of stuff in it, so there is an upgrade in that sense. And I think it's gone from 5K to 8K now, and I think it's a 1 mil sensor or whatever it is. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what the spec is, but it is a significant upgrade on the camera. But they're putting all their eggs in one basket. And I remember that drone that they came out with, which looked really good in principle, but I ended up having a lot of flaws with it.
Yeah,
and that really killed them.
Yeah, I think they rushed, sort of wanted to get out there with it and rushed into it and didn't filter out all the bugs.
I think they were trying to get it out before the DJI came on the scene.
Yeah.
And I think it backfired a bit because I think it came out about the same time as the early DJIs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mavics and stuff like that. I think it came out around about the same time. Yeah. But they just rushed it a bit too much, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, it is.
But they reckon it's a cinema quality camera if you get the pro version. You get a big lens and everything on it. You get like a big extension zoom lens on it. So, so it'll be interesting to see what footage looks like.
There was one thing. I mean, I know action cameras are for what they are what they are, but I started using my DSLR, and because it's got an optical lens, I was like, I just wanted to film from land and zoom in and not lose quality. Where I find, action cameras and even phones, the zoom the phones have gotten better, but I was even looking at a 4K Handycam with, I think it had 40 or 30 optical zoom just to get that zooming from land, because obviously because it gives you cinematic feel, and then I can be real close and then I can pan out and then see what I see. But I sort of didn't want to spend the money when I'm thinking,
and that's the dilemma, Alex. That's really the dilemma about, do you want to invest that much money, and how much does it really mean to you to have that kind of quality? Definitely if you're making some money and you're professional and you're kind of you can afford to invest that kind of money, but exactly. But when it's a hobby and you've got to balance other things up, you're kind of like, can I really justify that expense? I know some people do. Like Jeff Lake for the 30 odd grand or whatever, 20 grand on a lens for his camera.
Yeah, wow.
It's like, that's like serious money.
It is.
But he makes a little bit here and there on it. He's obviously not a full pro, but the ultimate goal for him would be to do that. But it's a lot of money for the likes of you and me that are trying to balance up other things as well, especially when you're trying to,
Yeah, that's right.
when you've got a young family and all the other kind of things that come along with it. But yeah, it's and the tech changes so quick as well. I hate it,
Yeah, it does.
Like it's one week is one thing, and next week is something else. It's like I can't keep up,
Yeah, they're getting smaller.
Oh,
The sensors
definitely.
are getting
Oh,
bigger. The quality is getting better. The storage is getting bigger, and the batteries.
let me
The
show
batteries,
you.
I feel like, are always
Have you
an
seen?
issue with them. But
I got this. My wife bought me this. I was looking forward to getting this, so I've never really used it yet. DJI Nano.
yeah, okay.
You can use it.
I haven't.
You can use it
I
there.
think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's got a separate screen.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
The whole thing works together. You can basically
Yeah. Okay.
connect that on to whatever it is you're putting. You get a neck. There's actually a pendant as well that you can hang around your neck. It's magnetic, so you can actually
Oh,
hang it.
yeah.
You
Yes.
can hang it on your chest like that with a
Yeah.
magnet behind it, and then you can just use this controller to start filming. So I've never really
That's
used
pretty
it,
good.
even though I've had it since Christmas. I've used it a
Yeah.
couple
Okay.
of
There you
times.
go.
It's good because I can do it in landscape or portrait. That's good that way because you get the real,
Yeah.
you get insta real size.
Yeah.
So that's good that way. So I'm needing to start learning to use it a bit more. But again, another bit of tech that will probably change in another 12 months. Who knows?
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way they are, eh? But handy.
Oh, look, I'm pretty. I've got a DJI Mini 3, and I mean, in technology wise, it's I think 4 years old now. But for me, it still does the job, and I mean, I've crashed two of them already, so I've got two replacements. But the batteries are still good. Like my batteries still get over 40 minutes each. I've got five
Yep.
batteries.
Yep.
I've got the storage case. I've got the SD cards. I still film in 4K.
Yeah, that's it.
50 frames. Look, there maybe the image sensor quality isn't as good as say a Mini 5 Pro, but for me, I think I'll keep it for another couple of years, and maybe if the Mini 6 comes out in a couple of years' time, I might.
Yeah.
I'm not that type of person who wants to upgrade every model.
No.
I'm happy to skip
I find,
5-6 generations.
I find I've got the Mini 4, and I find the Mini 4 is ample quality.
Yeah.
It's really, really sharp. And at the end of the day, social media, with the exception of YouTube will allow you 4K to upload to 4K. But when it comes to Facebook and all the others, it's like the quality doesn't really make a great deal of difference as such, as long as it's sharp. If you've got your frames per second set at a good level, then I think you should be pretty good for social media anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyway, we're going a bit off topic here. So, I'm just thinking
No.
about what your dad been going up to.
Well, I
You're
mean,
saying
there's
50
something
years,
I'd like.
50 years is a long time in the sport.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't. Yeah, probably wasn't far off. 50 years, I guess.
Well,
Was that 40?
You sent me 1970 to 2020.
I think it was 1978. It was 70. I think 79. I think is probably when he bought his first ski.
Oh well, we'll say.
And then I guess you could say
we'll say the 70s. So we'll just give them the benefit of the doubt.
46 years. Yeah, it's not far off. No, far off 50 years. Yeah.
Exactly. Continued
So, I
riding
mean-
into his 80s, including sit-down skis before shortly passing away.
Yeah, I had him
Legacy-
on the sit down in late. I had him twice in late November last year. I had him out twice within 2 weeks. I think it was early November and late November.
I think I remember.
And then he had his stroke mid-December.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
it was, I mean, it's not that you know what's around the corner, but I think we look back and go, oh, at least he got out, I'm
Alex,
sort of
you
happy
never
for
know-
his
you
sake
never
he
know
got
what's
out,
round the corner at all. My brother
That's right.
was 61. Got up one morning, wasn't feeling particularly great. Ended up on the couch. Turned out he had a heart attack, and then
Oh, wow.
died later on in the hospital. Never got a chance to say
Yeah.
farewell to him or anything like that. So, you never know. It was a wake up call for me,
Yeah.
to be honest. But
Yeah,
it is,
okay, there you
It
go.
is what it is.
Yeah.
it's something, you know, from a family perspective, like my mum scratches her head and thinks, why was it not me? You know, she's 92, so she's thinking, I shouldn't be having to put my, you know, my child to, you know, bury my child, you know, which is, I can totally
Yeah.
get that, you know, I totally understand that. But you never know what's, like you say, you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he's lived a pretty good life. You know,
Yeah.
your dad's
It's
done
amazing.
pretty well. Well-known figure,
Yeah.
well-known and respected figure in Victorian jet ski racing, watercraft community, especially through mentoring young riders and club involvement. And now mentoring the young riders was a big thing for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when we had him, he probably entered, I think it was 2018 or 19, he entered a time trial, and, you know, he was riding this ski and he was just going out there just cruising. And I mean, he got the slowest time, but it wasn't for him, it wasn't about trying to get the fastest time. It was more just, he went around, I think he did 2 or 3 laps.
Yep.
But even all the other riders, you know, from what I heard and saw, like, people went up to him and were like, oh, you know, oh, you're John. Like, people said, oh, you're John. Some of it, people didn't know him. And then, you know, they'll just sort of congratulate him for him at the time. I think he would have been in his late 70s. And they were sort of saying, oh, that's so awesome that, you know, you've come down here and you've rode your ski and entered, you know, a time trial event. And, you know, and they're sort of saying, oh, I hope I can do that when I'm your age, you know, that everyone sort of praised him for his efforts like that. And then obviously, even when we went to a few other time trials before that, some old ex races from the, you know, back in the 80s and 90s came down, and they're like, oh, hi John, it's you know, it's Chris. And dad would be like, Chris.
Chris.
And he'd be like, oh, you know, I'm trying to remember someone's name, like, and he would go, oh yes, I remember you, like, because, you know, dad hasn't seen this person for say 25 years, and he goes, oh, I was 15 when I was racing under you guys, you know, now I'm 40 or 50 years old, or, you know.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of older blood come back, you know, pop down to say hello. Not that because dad was there, they just sort of popped in, and you know, there's a few people that your dad hadn't seen for say 20, 30 years, and whether they were late, you know, early, late teenagers back then, or dad would go to me, I remember him, you know, he had a JS 650 SX and he was only 17 when I first met him, and, you know, 30 years later, this guy's almost 50, you know.
So he's pretty sharp up top, and he kind of coming to a bit of recall of people from years back.
Yeah, I mean, not seeing someone for 30 years is a long time.
Definitely.
And then when you connect the dots of whoever that person was, even at boat ramps, like I actually had this out last weekend, and the cops pulled up, and the police officers rolled the window down, and I sort of looked and I was like, oh, what's happened here? I haven't even launched it. And the cop goes, oh, you're not in trouble. I just want to say that isn't, you know, awesome piece of equipment you got there. And then we had a talk for about 15 minutes, but you know, stuff like that. But even I was at another boat ramp, and a bloke walked up to me and he goes, that's John Ewings' jet ski. And I go,
wow.
yes, it is. I go, yes, it is. And he goes, well, you must be his son. And I go, I am his son. And, you know, we had a talk, and obviously I realized who it was. But yeah, it's sort of, a lot of people have recognized, I don't know if it's the rego or they just sort of knew, but maybe because dad took photos of it online as well. But, you know, he was known, and his ski was known.
Well, that's it. He's obviously, like, the messaging you sent me through was he stayed connected with the community through socials, enjoying engaging other PWC riders online. But obviously, his interaction through the general community in his area has obviously paid dividend. That people are obviously recognising his ski and remember that he was the owner of it.
Yeah.
So he's made a lot of connections when he probably didn't even realise he'd made a lot of connections.
Yeah, that's right. I think another time we were out at the boat ramp, and this bloke come up to dad and started talking, and dad's like, I don't know who that is. And then I had to ask the guy, I was like, sorry, dad doesn't remember who you are. And he said his name, and then, dad said he was involved with the AJSBA like 30 years ago. And I was like, yeah, wow. You know, it's sort of, you know, especially in summertime would bring out a lot of people that, you know, just randomly you'd bump into at the boat ramps. And yeah, you know, just obviously the old school way, or the original way of networking was actually meeting people, you know, at boat ramps, at race meets, you know, at working beat, when they used to have working beats at the clubs, just bumping into people and people just getting in and amongst it. And
Yeah.
you know,
So your dad's
feeling part of the
obviously
community.
like being again another. He considered himself more of a social rider than a professional racer. He believed it was more
Oh
about
yeah.
and believed the sport is more about passion and enjoyment than skill level. That's a fantastic point, an absolutely fantastic point about believing that the sport's more about passion and enjoying it. Too many people are in it, and you kind of question, do they really enjoy it, or is it just about winning and killing the enjoyment for themselves, taking it a bit too serious? Um, I think we could probably agree that we've all seen those type of racers out and about somewhere.
Yeah, look, I think even from what I've learnt from Dad, I mean, I'm not a successful jet ski racer, free rider, but for me, I never got into it to be successful. It was just we got into it as a part of a hobby and a passion to do it. And I mean, I respect people who are competitive and want to push limits and want to be a world champion. That's even an Aussie champion. Stuff like that. That's great. It's good motivation, and but I guess to some point, I don't know. I guess I was never brought up. I was brought up around the racetrack, but we weren't racing. It was just my family were sort of running it as part of the committee and putting it all on. But I mean, I do enjoy a bit of competitive racing when I'm keeping up with riders. It is good fun. It's rail to rail, or you're right there. But I mean, if I'm happy to go to a race meet, and actually sometimes I don't even race. I'm just happy to marshal and just see others have a good time, because there's more, as we're saying, there's more to it than just actually winning a club round or stuff like that. But I guess everyone's different with how they approach certain sports like this. And I mean,
I think
I could happily ride that all weekend, and as long as it doesn't stop running, I'm happy.
fine.
It's not about
Exactly.
even if I come last. It's fun.
Exactly. That's a great point. It's a great point. It's all about the fun, and it's about the passion for doing it. And I think that sometimes gets lost quite a lot on a lot of people. So, listen, what's your lasting memories of your dad?
I guess the last few days he was alive, I brought my GoPro in, and I went out it might have been the day before or something. I went out in the morning, and then I brought in and I showed him the footage of me riding, and he actually held the GoPro, and he was, because it's got the you probably can't see, but it's got the back screen here.
Yep.
And he was sort of looking at the footage, and he was holding it. He couldn't really communicate, but I felt like it was one of those moments where I kind of felt that I knew he knew what he was watching, because I could see his eye sort of, I know the screen's a bit small, but he was sort of watching what was going on. And I guess, for the last few moments of him being around, it was sort of, I don't know, because when I was a kid, or even up recent times when I said we took out the cameras, he would film me riding, or I'd have the GoPro, and then we'd go home and we'd either plug it into the HDMI cable, we'd watch it on the screen having lunch. So I feel like we would review our rides if we recorded it, and then I felt like it was good to see him see one of my rides, I guess, before he goes. So that was sort of something I probably won't forget.
Alexi Parder's actually come on, and he just commented and said that's magic. So that's a great way, great connection that you had with your dad. Stunning. Who was the harshest critic? You of your dad, or your dad of you? Or was it more constructive?
I don't think. Oh, racing wise, he'd always if I went up to New South Wales, or if he didn't come to a race meet, he'd go, did you win? And I'd be like, I got second, or I never really won a lot, but a few Victoria rounds have come first. That's because the New South Wales riders are a bit better, but nothing against the Vic riders. But he was always interested to know, where I came, or I'd just say I came last, and he'd go, oh, what happened? And I'd say, engine problems or something, or I don't know, something happened, and he'd just be like, oh, okay, and then he'd go, he'd usually ask about who turned up, but he wasn't he was interested to know where I came. And even if I came last, if I shared a picture on social media just saying, what a weekend, engine problems, came last, he would share it and still be happy of it. That like there's a cool photo of Alex or something. So
yeah, that's because he's proud of his young lad. That's why.
yeah, I think probably sometimes I was a bit more on his case about if he was stuffing around, at the boat ramp, or I'd probably go, "Come on, Dad, let's go ride," or what are you doing?
Your
But
dad's being the proud father, okay? Like you'll do exactly the same thing with your kids, okay? But when it comes to your father doing something, you as the child, it's almost like when you're a teenager, you get embarrassed. You're like, "Oh, come on,
yeah,
let's go, eh?
what are you
Well,
doing?
what are you
Yeah,
doing, Dad? Come on, let's go," Because I get that with my kids. They do that with me. Oh, come on, will you behave yourself? Stop that. But then I'm also curious to see what they get up to, and even if they haven't had the best day, I'm still proud of what they've done. You know what I mean? So I
yeah.
think that's just a parents and child relationship in general.
But yeah, he would always, after every race meet, he would always ask, oh, was this person there, or what happened to that person? He was just interested to know of the people that he knew. He was just interested to know how they went as well.
He'd
So
be,
he
yeah,
just
he'd be
sort of,
curious to see how they go on and whether they're still involved, all that kind of things as well. So these will be people obviously he knows as well as you. So that's good.
yeah,
Great to hear. Listen, I'm going to let you go. We've been chatting
yeah, all
away.
good.
We could probably chat a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah, we could.
Listen, I've got no doubt
Oh,
that your dad's impact on the sport, even though a lot of people don't probably fully understand it, it's there. Even although they probably don't feel it or realize it. But I've never met the man. That's my only regret. Is he added me. I've spoken to him through messages a couple of times.
yeah.
But I never physically got a chance to meet him. Never physically got
Well,
a chance.
I did want to say something. He did a couple of times. He's like, oh, who? Maybe I don't know, last year before. He goes, oh, who's that? Who's that Scotsman on that Jetski Republic? And because he just knew, and I was like, oh yeah, Bruce, hey, he's all right. And he's just asking about you because he just said, he's like, oh okay, yeah.
Wondering what
And
I'm
he
getting
just
up
sort of
to. So
yeah, he's just sort of asking about
you. Can't understand what he says.
yeah, it was just funny. He just sort of, he said that Scotsman Bruce, like that Scotsman. He just said it, in a bad way, but it's just funny how he said it because I was like, oh yeah, Bruce is all right. He just does. He's got a bit of a podcast weekly thing. He sort of connects with riders and shares things about the sport. And
yeah,
this must have been early days, but yeah, it's just funny how he sort of said it.
That's fine. It's nice that it's been recognised. Even from John and stuff like that as well, and people like that acknowledge what I'm trying to do, and I'm not. I appreciate that. It's more about. I don't do it for that reason though. I do it because I want to do it. It's like you say, and like your dad said, it's a passion. You enjoy it, and I enjoy doing what I do. If people benefit from that, then great, and that's all I'm really interested in. Is just trying to promote the sport and the community in a positive light. And to see things like your dad, what he does and what you do, and what everybody else is doing out there, I think it's just one of many things that I could spend all day talking and highlighting to others. So I appreciate you
Definitely.
and your late father's
That's all good.
input for getting us to here. Like I said, my only regret is I never got a chance to meet him.
Nah, that's all right. It's all good.
But we'll share a beer at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Toast your father.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, Alex. All the best to you and your family. Okay, and thanks for your time.
Thank you, and to you too. Thank you too.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers.
See ya.
That was awesome. Thank you, Alex. That was really, really good. I enjoyed that. Yeah, like I said, my only regret is never been able to catch up with John, have a chat, have a good yarn, and yeah, that's John Youings, John W. Youings. He does have a Facebook page. Obviously, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't actually looked at it lately. I don't know if Alex has access to it or whether it's just a time capsule that just sits there now for people to just occasionally maybe flick to and look through what he's done in the past over the years, and it'd be nice. Hopefully we keep that. Alex, I hope there's no plans to. If you've got access, I hope there's no plans to shut it down. It's a testament and a time capsule to your father. And occasionally people can flip back to it and have a look at it and remember your father. Okay, right, there we go. Thank you again. All right, let's go round up. Let's clear some of my screens. Boom, boom, boom. All right, what's coming up? Wellington Jet Sport Club. 25th of July, it's a Saturday. They have the 2026 Winter Enduro. Let me just click on that event. Now, it is July, but it's coming pretty quick. That's only 6 weeks. 5 weeks, maybe. And there we are. Wellington, Marine Parade, down the coast from... there we go. So if you're in New Zealand, get your entries in. If you happen to be over there at the time, visiting, pop down, watch, give them some support. It will be cold, I will not lie. But 25th of July, Saturday, Winter Enduro coming up. So that's Wellington Jet Sport. What else do we have? The IHRA Professional Watercraft Series. The reason I am on this is because New Zealand's Noah Skips is competing in this with the Farthing Racing Team. He is in the Pro 300 Endurance class. I believe he's sitting 5th overall. It's the Lake of Ozarks. I don't know exactly where that location is. But the Ozark race schedule is up. Go to the IHRA Professional Watercraft Series. You can follow this event. There is a live stream as well. The links will be posted usually a couple of days or potentially on the day, but they always keep it up to date. This is usually regularly updated, so people can see what's going on. And it's a very, very slick outfit that runs this live stream, the whole shebang. It's a good race series to follow. It is in America, so bear in mind there will be a time difference as well. Okay, so that's Noah. Good luck, Noah, on that series. QPWC, I'm just giving this a shout out now. Before I go into this, it is on the 28th of June. Race entries are open for it. There was meant to be round 2 at the weekend there, but unfortunately the race series was canned because of lack of supporters or helpers and assistants to set up and help to facilitate the whole day. So that unfortunately round 2 had to get canned. Hopefully round 3 will take place. Entries are open. There's been a couple of entries coming in already, so that's good to see. It is 3 weeks away. All right, or coming up for almost 2 weeks away now. The closing dates will be on a Wednesday, but Wednesday midnight on the 25th, I think it is. 24th, 25th. But so it's a final club round before the Cameron Martin Enduros, which is in July. Okay, and go check it out, qpwc.org.au, and get your entries in. So there you go. There it is, the event. Atkinson's Dam, Sunday. Also, I haven't got the graphics for this as well. There is a race event the weekend before. I believe, I can't remember the venue. Go check it out. If you're needing to reach out, it's stand-ups, predominantly stand-ups and Sparks and Jet Blasters, that series. And if you're interested in that one at all, go check that one out. It's in Queensland. I don't think it's at Leafy Lakes. I've got a feeling it's at Atkinson's Dam as well. But I don't know because I don't have access to that information. But check it out. Go to 81 Racing because I believe there's some information there in regards to it. Failing that, you can pop over to the Instagram page and have a look at Oz Watercraft Racing, I think it is, or WRC, I can't remember. So anyway, check that out. So that's the week before, and then the weekend after this is mainly runabouts. This is runabouts class, and the other guys the week before are predominantly stand up and light skis, wreck lights, and jet blasters. So something to check out. A little bit of racing over the next couple of weekends. So whatever whatever you fancy, maybe both. Go check them out. Get involved and help out. All right, so that's pretty much the racing. Jetski Social Northern Ireland. Always enjoy checking out our compatriots up north on the north side. When I say north side, I mean northern hemisphere. They were meant to have a ride over to the Isle of Man from Northern Ireland. Didn't quite pan out. The weather conditions were pretty crap. Their idea was they go over to the Isle of Man, watch a bit of the TT racing which is going on. And for those of you who don't know, it's an annual motorbike race through the around the Isle of Man on the road circuit. It is lethal, but so exciting to watch. It's unbelievable. Some real crazy people riding motorbikes around the street circuit or the road circuit there on the Isle of Man. So they had to cancel that one, unfortunately. I'm not sure when their next cruise or their next ride has been planned, but if you're up that way and you're in that vicinity, check out their page. Contact Stephen Seenan, who will get you updated in regards to when their next ride's going to be. Who knows, it might even be able to help you out, like piggyback on the back of one of their skis. So that's Northern Ireland. And winter conditions. There we go. There's the boys. There's the boys from the Wild Water Hogs out last weekend. Crazy weather. Last weekend, well, I say crazy weather. It was like crazy wave conditions, but good wave conditions, and I mean that in a constructive way. You can see nice clean waves, perfect for what they were doing, jumping, surfing the waves, all that kind of stuff. So hats off to them. They do have an Instagram page as well. Check them out. There's regular pictures. Check out on YouTube as well. There's a couple of the riders post their videos regularly up on YouTube. I don't recall them off the top of my head, but if you type in Wild Water Hogs, you'll probably find something in YouTube. Okay, and some of these videos are really, really good to watch. So that's the Wild Water Hogs and what they've been up to. What's been happening elsewhere? Jetski family pop-up ride on the Gold Coast. I think this one's Thursday. Sorry, tell a lie. It's more of a night ride though. So they're doing a night ride through Surfers Paradise, 5 till 6 o'clock. You do need to have the proper navigation lights required. Make sure they're legal. The temporary ones, some work, some don't. So make sure you've got something suitable. If you're in doubt, contact Jake Braun or contact Anthony at Jet LEDs, who can actually fix you up with a proper regulated set of navigation night lights. So definitely worth the investment if you want to do a different type of ride, which is nighttime riding, which is actually really quite good. It's really nice. All right, so that's night ride this tomorrow night, yes. Now last weekend Jetski Adventurers also had a ride out. Carl Greenwald put his video out. I'm going to just let it run. I'm not going to let the music play. Hopefully you can see that properly. I'm not going to expand the screen because it might just throw my settings off. So looks like glass. That's further up the river of the Brisbane River. Bit hard on the river there. It looks really, really nice. Early morning run out. Looks beautiful. The old brown snake, the Brisbane River. People complain. Some people complain about it. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, it's actually a really nice ride. And at the end of the day, if you give it a good wash and a good flush out, at the end of the day, it does no harm to your ski at all. So there you go. That's Carl. That's the only video that I came across. There is that one there. I don't know if I'd be doing that one, but hey ho, never mind. That's George down in Victoria. So there you go. That's the Jetski Adventurers. They were out last weekend. Nothing planned this weekend because the weather conditions are looking a bit crap. That was the Wild Water Hogs. I'll leave that out. Obviously, last week's show I couldn't do. I was dog tired. I had a few things to get on. Carol, you need to spill the beans, mate. What's the ride that's happening this weekend? It hasn't been advertised. What have I missed? So you've got a ride happening this weekend, barbecue ride. Carol, what's the details? And I will share them. Do I need to refresh the page? Sunday? Whoa. Oh, I can't do Sunday, mate. Oh, that's right. So you have. I'm out Sunday, yeah. What was that one? Oh, that was in the chat group. Oh, what was that again? Posted up on the group. Right, let's just go to that one. Let's just get that. All right, let's have a look for this one. See if we can find it. All right, there we go. Group ride. Everyone's been far too long since we've had a proper group ride. Let's fix that. Sunday the 14th. Departing the Broadwater, 7:30 a.m. sharp. Be heading up the Coochie Muddle Island. Parking the skis on the beach. Fire up the barbecue. Spend a few hours enjoying good food, good company, and hopefully some decent weather. Now they've got barbecues on site there, don't they? Pretty sure they do. Sneaky stop at Tipler's for a cold beverage. Iced coffee, I take it. Bit more socialising for you. Make things easier and help spread the cost around. If you're able to bring something along for the barbecue, it'd be greatly appreciated. Goal is simple. Get back out on the water. Enjoy a great ride. Have a laugh. Spend the day with a great group of people. Comment below if you're coming. Carol, I would love to have gone. That's right, yeah, in the park. Carol, why couldn't this have been Saturday? Sunday, I can't go. World Cup opening game, mate. Scotland's playing Haiti. I ain't gonna miss that one. I'm meeting friends out and about for that one. It's going to be a big gathering of fellow Scots all in one place, watching it on a big screen. Breakfast, the whole works. Early morning start. Got to be there. 11 o'clock kick-off, so I'll be there at 7. Breakfast, socialise. And then apparently Australia's kicking off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be home by that point. But I'll probably still watch it. And so, yeah, I'm not going to make that one. Damn. So, bit disappointed with that one. Okay, fair enough. Hopefully there's one the following weekend and I can get out then. Been too long for me. I need to get out again. Way too long. So that's Jetski Adventurers. They do have a ride out. Look up this page. Okay, Jetski Adventurers. Message, invite, add yourself as a friend to the page, and contact Carol. Carol's admin. If you're interested in this one, register your interest. Let them know. I look forward to that one, Carol. We'll do it again soon. Yes, definitely do it. I think the winter months we need to try and do one every weekend if we can. And I'm going to put this one out here, Carol. While you're on as well, how's about a lap of North Straddy out through the pin, up at the coast on the outside, round Point Lookout, stop off at the it's not Castaways, you know the one I mean, the world famous, I can't even remember what it was called, shit, that's terrible, Southern Point of Morton, you know the one I mean. Can we stop off there, grab a brekkie or whatever, and then we can head back down? And those that are coming from Cleveland, like I'll probably do the lap. I'll do the lap from out of Cleveland or somewhere. I might on this occasion, if it's going to do the lap of North Straddy, then I might just put in at Jacob's Well with everyone else, and then we could just head out and around, and we're all together. So I'd like to do that when I know we do need a bit of fuel for that one. So Carol, we can have a look at that one. Yeah, let's do it. We can have a look at it, Carol. Let's get our heads together. We'll look at it so we can get the tides, so we're not having to worry about the sandbanks heading into South Morton. And yeah, let's work on that one. keep that one on the back burner, Carol. Okay, and then we'll organise that one. But I think aim for a ride a week if we can. Every weekend should be something we were trying to aim for, and let's try and do something over the winter months, especially with the whales now migrating. Definitely. And outside of North Stradey, especially around the Point Lookout, is actually a good vantage point for the whales because it sticks out and the whales cut that point, so they're in a little bit closer than they would normally be. So it's a good little point, and you like riding up that coast, you're going to see plenty. If there's enough whale action going on, you will see it. Okay, so let's keep that one in mind. These are ones we can talk about in the chat group. All right, guys, that's us. Quick one for you. If you missed any of the SCX event, it was live streamed. You can go and check it out. There was on-site commentary. It was piped into the live feed. So Mick Anthony did win it, and a final shootout with Cam. I can't remember his second name, but Cam was in the final with him, and the young guns are certainly making an impression because Mick's already commented that even the first and the second rounds weren't easy to get through. They had to battle, and as you can see from the footage behind me, there was no big rolling surf. Just the occasional waves, occasional good clean waves coming through. And Sunday, to be honest, was actually really challenging for the riders because there was very little breaking waves, and when they did come, they had to grab it quickly and seize it very quickly. So it was a good opportunity, good test for all the riders. But check it out, the SCX page. It was put live on that channel, on that platform for the first time ever, and hopefully it was a success for Matty O'Connor, and we do it again on that channel again next year. So I'm going to leave the show now, dial out. We've been on 70 minutes now. I'm going to leave you with a video from the SCX. It's a slow-mo video. Jeff Lakeford, nautical image, put it together. I'm going to leave you with that video. Till next week, everyone. I want to wish you all the best. Have a great time, whatever you're up to over the weekend. Get out there, have fun. Most importantly, stay safe, come home to your loved ones. Take care. Good night.